We are at the former location of the Dixmont State Hospital. Today is Sunday, May 2nd, 1999. The following tape was going to show you some of the Dixmont property, the former Dixmont property, now owned by Kilbuck Township resident Ralph Stroney. Kilbuck Township makes up a sizable part of the 400 plus acres of the Dixmont property. Parts of the property also lie within Aleppo, Glenfield, and Emsworth, but they make up a small amount. The majority lies in Kilbuck. We're standing at the east entrance on Huntington Road in Emsworth, right at the almost Emsworth-Kilbuck line, where the pillars are. There used to be plaques on these pillars, and this was the entranceway to the Dixmont State Hospital. As you can see, if you look over to the left, the one building that lies within Emsworth Borough is the Camerata building, which is currently having all new utilities installed. There's a lot of construction work going on here, a lot of tree removal, preliminary work. The thoughts right now for this building, I understand, is going to be converted into some type of office space, and there'll be new parking lots, etc. Okay, we're in the rear of the Camerata building in Emsworth on the Dixmont property, looking over at the old former guardhouse for the Dixmont property. In approximately 8 months' time, that house will probably be gone, either demolition or given to the fire company for practice drills and to burn. At least that's the intentions at this time presented by Mr. Stroney. And as you can see, that's a pretty sizable structure. Right now, I don't believe it's being used for anything. As you go through the facility here, you'll see a lot of trees and a lot of dirt and stuff being moved. They have a logging company in here that's taking out trees. front of the old Dietary building of the Dixmont State Hospital property. This building was the building where all the patients, staff, workers, and everything were fed. This was the dining rooms and everything. Years ago, a lot of this property was farmed by farmers, and the farmers that worked this property also were fed in this building. This building goes back quite a time, and I believe that this is one building on the property that's probably going to be demolished in the overall scale of this. The Dietary building is attached to the main building of the hospital called Reed Hall. As you can see, there are 4 little bridges enclosed that cross over. 3 of them, I believe, go directly to the building, and then the 4th one on the far end, on the west side, is more or less a pathway across, so that you didn't have to walk out on the roadways for staff and that when they were going back and forth between the buildings. This is by far the biggest structure on the property. Okay, right now we're on the east side of the Reed Hall. The area you see with all these old benches and trees behind me used to be a very pretty green, grassy area where the patients and some of the staff members would sit out during the nicer weather, the nicer times of the year, just like we're enjoying this beautiful spring day today. This property, when it was at its peak and at its height, kept clean, proper, cut. It was really, really a beautiful facility in its day and time. Yeah, there's a guy. We're now in front of Reed Hall. We're on the west side in front of the building. As you can see, down to the left of me is where the main entrance was to Reed Hall. And the main middle building is where basically the fire was contained to. As you can see, the roof is gone, and farther behind was the chapel area that probably had the most extensive damage. Again, there are many benches along the front here. Again, at one time, this was beautiful, cut grass, flowers, benches where the patients could sit. This is an enormous building. The biggest building can be seen from the air, that's for sure, when you fly over. And we're looking directly across the river. If you're on the other side, you look over towards Emsworth and Kilbuck. This is one piece of property that definitely stands out. Right in front of us is part of the old fire hydrant system here. Both these pieces worked in conjunction. And if I understand right, the tall piece, I guess, flipped open and you turned it, and that showed the availability of the water, if I understand right. And then, of course, the regular fire hydrant. Right now, very few hydrants, if any, on this property have any water in them. But that's a pretty old piece of equipment. And the markings on top told you whether it was open or closed, just like on the fire hydrants. There are several of these located around the hospital property, especially here at Reed Hall. The Burma Road going down there. see a lot of the work here, dumping, clearing, roasting, cut paths, a lot of excavation. Hope I'm right. Okay, the road we're on now, we're above most of the main buildings. There's a lot of buildings on the Dixmont property didn't used to be here. There's an old shelter, picnic shelter, pavilion, whatever you want to call back in here. This used to be a real pretty grass area. We had several disaster drills up here, and then the building that sits behind where Kip's filming right now over here on my left, that building was used by the fire company for several smoke drills. I don't remember exactly what that was used for down here, if it was a maintenance building of some type, but these roads that are cut, the one that goes to the east goes back to another road that goes down into the hospital or back to the dump. Another road's cut that goes back up into where the reservoir area was, the old graveyard, the old farmlands and everything. They've cut a lot of roads through here, especially for the loggers to get through with their trucks and equipment. The terrain has definitely changed. Okay, we're high above Dixmont Hospital. We're actually up behind the Dietary building. Tuberculosis patients were up here at Dixmont. And like I said, this complex really sprawls. Unfortunately, all the buildings that were here aren't here anymore that we could point out everything to you. But again, you can see where they're cutting trees and moving things here. But there's another, looks like walkway that goes back here. It comes from the house across where the road goes back in. And I believe that was used as more of an evacuation ramp and whatever for patients. But you can see this house was kept pretty much away from all the other areas. Okay, we are now high above on the Dixmont property. Directly behind me, the wall you see is part of the old Dixmont Reservoir. We just came through the woods way out behind us that they have paths cut all through this property. If he pans over to the left, you're looking way across through the Toms Run Valley over into Glenfield Borough and beyond that Aleppo Township. Then if he looks directly ahead through the trees, you're looking across the Ohio River. So we're in a prime area here. Someday there'll probably be some very beautiful homes that'll set up in here in this beautiful piece of real estate. All right, we're on the west end of the Dixmont Hospital property, close to the Ohio River Boulevard. And on the west end, behind Kip, there's the gate. That's the west entrance. This is called Ray Road. It connects with Toms Run right there to Ohio River Boulevard. The old Dixmont Hospital sign sits off there to the left, right there in the corner, in the back of it. The driveway on my left goes down into the Dixmont boiler plant. That's where the big tower is here. Boiler plant tower. The building is right behind it. Where the sewage treatment, water treatment. And the road off to the left goes to the other part of the sewage treatment plant. Get a shot of the available site. Okay, we're still on the west side of the Dixmont complex. We are by the old laundry building, and right below it, the old power station for the Dixmont property. This building was also sites of several of our fire drills during the years Dixmont was open. And right off to the left here, believe it or not, we landed a life flight helicopter on the left the night of the one drill. You can still see that there's still street lights on the property that still actually work. A lot of power lines and phone lines that run through the property. This Ray Road winds up from Tom's Run Road. It goes all the way up to where Reed Hall is. All right, we're looking out into the Tom's Run Valley again. Up on the hill, you can see where the loggers are working, where certain trees and stuff have been cut down. That side of the hill is actually in Glenfield. The Dixmont property runs on both sides of Tom's Run Road. On Kilbuck, over up and runs up into property owned by the Schwogels and other people up on the Glenfield side. And that goes way out to Duff Road, up Duff Road, and a little section of Aleppo up in the very far northwest corner would probably be Dixmont property in Aleppo, but it would be only a couple acres.